On the shores of ancient Egypt once stood a building so powerful that people believed it contained everything humans had ever known. This was the Library of Alexandria, a place historians still argue may have held the greatest collection of knowledge the world has ever seen. And according to Wikipedia and records cited by Britannica, its destruction didn't just burn books. It may have erased entire civilizations from memory. But here's the part most people don't realize. The library didn't vanish in a single fire. It didn't fall in one dramatic night. And halfway through this episode, there's a twist that changes how we understand what was truly lost. Around 300 BC, in the city of Alexandria, Egypt, rulers of the Ptolemaic dynasty had a radical idea. They wanted to gather every piece of knowledge in the world in one place. According to ancient accounts referenced by the Smithsonian Institution, ships entering Alexandria's harbor were searched. Any books on board were confiscated, copied, and stored. The originals stayed in the library. The copies were returned. Scholars from Greece, Persia, India, and North Africa lived and worked there. They studied astronomy, medicine, mathematics, geography, engineering, and philosophy. This wasn't just a library. It was the ancient world's first research institute. And for centuries, it worked. Texts linked to the Library of Alexandria described things that sound impossible for the ancient world. According to National Geographic and surviving references, scholars there calculated the circumference of the Earth with shocking accuracy, proposed early versions of heliocentrism, mapped the known world, studied anatomy through observation, preserved texts from civilizations that no longer exist. Some historians believe steam power concepts were documented there nearly 2,000 years before the Industrial Revolution. But here's the problem. Almost none of these original works survive today. We only know about them through fragments, quotes, and secondhand references. Most people believe the Library of Alexandria was destroyed in a single catastrophic fire. That story is wrong. According to modern historical analysis published by Cambridge University Press, the library likely declined over centuries, damaged repeatedly by wars, political shifts, and religious conflicts. Julius Caesar's fire? Possibly damaged part of it. Later Roman decrees? Likely weakened it further. Religious reforms? May have sealed its fate. The twist is this. The library didn't disappear overnight. It was slowly abandoned, ignored, and defunded. Knowledge wasn't destroyed in one moment. It was allowed to fade. This wasn't just a tragedy. It was a choice, repeated over generations. Because the library vanished gradually, no one ever recorded exactly what it held. But historians, referencing lists preserved by later scholars, believe it may have contained a lost histories of Africa, Mesopotamia, and Asia, scientific observations far ahead of their time, original works by thinkers we now know only by name, records of ancient engineering techniques, texts from civilizations erased by conquest. Some scholars argue that entire fields of science had to be rediscovered centuries later, simply because their original foundations were lost. Imagine humanity pressing a reset button on its own progress. That's what the fall of Alexandria might represent. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If knowledge can disappear this completely once, do you think it could happen again? Comment. Only if we forget if you believe preserving history matters more than ever. The Library of Alexandria isn't just a story about books. It's a warning. It shows how fragile human knowledge really is, how progress isn't guaranteed, and how easily curiosity can be replaced by power, fear, or indifference. Today, we rebuild libraries digitally. We store knowledge in clouds and servers. But the lesson of Alexandria remains the same. What we choose to preserve defines what the future remembers, and what we allow to disappear may never return. The Library of Alexandria reminds us that history isn't only shaped by what survives, but by what's lost. If stories like this resonate with you, forgotten knowledge, vanished worlds, hidden chapters of human history, then stay with this series. Not to inflate numbers, but to be part of a group that believes these stories still matter. The next episode takes us to another place where history went silent and left behind more questions than answers.